¿Qué tal, amigo? Stuart here from Spain Speaks, coming to you again from Madrid, the capital of this country. And today I'm going to do a follow-up video on one that I did last year about whether or not the crisis in Spain was over. And this is also a request from somebody who sent me a message a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month, and asked me if I could update that video and whether construction was still rampant in Spain, and whether housing prices were increasing or going down, and other aspects of that. So I've come back to the place where I recorded some of that video last year. We'll go up to the highest point here, and we'll get an overview of this area, and we'll see if we've still got a lot of cranes and just general construction activity going on in the area. So let's go to the top here. Alright, so here we are with a bit of a better view of the situation up here, and I've got the camera pointing towards Madrid. We can see in the distant background there that we have the 4 towers at Plaza Castilla in the north of Madrid, and all of the area in between is quite suburban. Over here we have Vallecas, where we can also see a tower. That's quite a newly constructed area. And the part that we have here, of course, is Rivas Vacia Madrid, which is about 20 kilometers away from the center of Madrid. And this area here in the center is where the majority of the construction has taken place over the last 12 to 18 months. We can see that we've got currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cranes up, maybe more. Actually, let's count again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6. I think there was about 15 or 16 last time that I counted. So there's less activity than then. But this area here in the middle that we're seeing here, there's at least 10 buildings or perhaps more have popped up in the last 12 to 18 months. This area over here is more established. It's been functioning for about the last 20-25 years. And we can also see down here in the middle, you'll see that there's a red building down there. That's like a business area. But over here again is the main area where these new constructions are going up. Now, the question of whether the crisis is finished or not is an interesting one, and it's one that's really not easy to answer. Depends on where you are, who you talk to, and basically I think what you want to believe. If you listen to the government, the European Union, official statistics, then the crisis is over. I think growth predicted for this year and last year was around 3%. Unemployment levels have come down from mid-20s to 17 or 18%. Unemployment, or youth unemployment, is still a bit of a problem. But those are the areas in which you could argue that the crisis has finished. And again, the construction industry, as I said before, has started to pick up again. So a lot of people have come back to work in that sector, and there's a lot of jobs created around that sector as well. The skeptics. Well, the skeptics are the people that have recently got back into work, but their salaries are a lot lower than what they were before. The quality of the jobs that they're doing is probably not as good as they were before. Housing prices slumped so much that a lot of people still haven't felt that recovery. So if you got a mortgage in 2007 or 2008, the chances are that your property's still worth less than it was when you bought it. That's a problem. In general, house prices have increased a little. there has been a little bit of movement in that sector, and in the big capital cities, rental properties have gone out of control. But that's also due to the tourism boom and tourist apartments and a couple of other things as well. Plus, you know, there's a lot more demand than there is supply, so that's a bit of an issue. If you're looking to invest in property, you're still going to find prices quite high compared to what the salary levels are in this country. That is, if you're working. If you're looking to invest or buy property on the coasts, you know, down in Andalusia, Levante, you can probably still get a deal. But in the capital cities, the deals, you know, the good bargains have probably, you know, most likely dried up. So not easy to get those deals anymore. So we're going to go and have a look now at a couple of those abandoned projects. I think in the last video I showed 2 abandoned projects that were, you know, they started to build these properties and then they just stopped because the money ran out or the banks cut off the credit supply, and they just left these you know, shells of buildings. So we're going to go back there and see if there's any resurgence or any activity in those particular areas. I think there is. Alright, now we're back to one of these areas that I was at last year, and exactly what I thought. This area is being completely regenerated, let's say. We can see here that we've got 42 houses with a garage, pool and paddle court. It doesn't say what the price is going to be, but they started in August 2017. In 10 months it's going to be finished. So I can't really get much of a view of what it's about, but we've got here that we're not allowed to go through. So we'll see if there's a gap here and see we can see what's going on. So we can see here that there are builders there, and it is what I thought. These houses have been sitting here in this way for about 10 years. And now all of a sudden people have decided to come back and you know, start to build them again. Let's go and see if we can find another area in a similar situation. Alright, now this was another area that was in the video last year that was abandoned 10 years ago, more or less. And likewise, they have decided to start building again for some reason. Now I don't know whether that's because the money has suddenly appeared. To be honest, I have no idea what the reason is, but as we can see here, this is full building activity up and running again. And we can see what we've got here. We've got 2 to 4 bedroom apartments or flats, 135,000 euros plus VAT. It's called the Residencial Cubic. You can see that it looks quite attractive. There's going to be a nice pool, but remember that these buildings here have been sitting in this state for the last 10 years, and as I said, the money's just come back and the building has started again. There we have the sales information area. Also see here that we have a Spanish flag flying. Now that's another point that I'll mention, is that the economic crisis has finished, but the constitutional crisis seems to have just started. And with all of the problems that we're having now in Catalonia, who knows when that will be sorted out, if it will ever be sorted out. So from economic crisis to constitutional crisis, welcome to Spain. So these were the houses that were still being built last year. Now you can see they're completely finished here, and people are obviously living there now. I think the price was 222 or something thousand euros. I don't know whether that was the price that everybody paid or whether it was the final price or whether prices started to increase again, but you know, that's what you're going to be paying for one of these things. And you know, as we saw in that other place, up to 300,000 for something similar. Now, if you look at this area here, which is the heart of the construction area here in Rivas, you can see that there's buildings going up all over the place. We've got a new supermarket down here as well. There's new bars, there's new restaurants, there's a lot of new economic activity. So if you came here and you thought that you were in a country that had been in a crisis for a long time, you'd think you were dreaming, because this is absolutely unbelievable what's going on here. So I'll sign this video off here. Is the crisis over? Well, it is for some, it isn't for others, and that's probably going to be the case for the next few years. If you're planning on getting a job, don't hop on the plane just yet unless you're willing to teach English, because the employment market still hasn't recovered sufficiently. So that's about all. So if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. I'll see you in the next vlog. Hasta luego.